Hi, this is Kurt with Axtreme-Guitar, and for this video we're going to be working on palm muting, so stay tuned. So before we get started, there are just a few things that we should go over so you know what you're about to get into with palm muting power chords. I'm using this Les Paul guitar, and you want to take note of the bridge setup. This is called a tune-o-matic style bridge. So you have this lock bar here, you have the saddle where the strings sit. That's going to pose a different way of approaching palm mute. Here I have a Fender style guitar with a completely different type of bridge. This one is called a hardtail bridge. You're going to approach this maybe slightly differently from what you would with the tune-o-matic. With this guitar, this has the Stratocaster type of body, but the bridge is a Floyd Rose, or also known as a floating bridge. And it is called that because the way that it sits, you can use this whammy bar to bend the notes either down or back the other way as well. On a Stratocaster or Fender style bridge, you may get a whammy bar like this one here, but you can only press it down to lower the pitch. It doesn't allow you to pull the pitch the other direction. And last is an acoustic guitar. Some of you aren't dealing with an electric guitar and you want to know how to palm mute while using your acoustic guitar. This bridge is a fixed bridge or hardtail bridge where you're just laying your palm along this saddle area here and getting that desired palm mute sound. So everyone's got their own particular way of approaching palm muting and the sound. I'll give you a very general approach to it, and I'll use a few different guitars so that you can see the differences and some of the things that I was talking about. So right now I am using clean. Now you can do it with clean or gain. I'm going to be sticking my hand on the saddle over here, and I'm going to place my palm right in here and just worrying about that top E string right now. You hear how it's a little muffled, but I'm allowing just enough of the note to come through. If I move my palm just the tiniest bit, and you won't even really notice me moving my hand just because it's so small of a movement, but you hear the difference. When I move it up just a little bit, there's less of the note. And if I do the opposite direction, move it quite a bit further back than where I was the very first time, there's a lot more of the note. I'll move it back a little more. So you'll hear it especially so if I were to change to distortion. So similarly, I started out with just a medium amount of release, and if I move my hand up just a bit, it's still an acceptable amount of note in there for palm mute, but a lot less. Now I can do it the opposite direction and come way back. Still acceptable, but certainly letting out quite a bit more note. So that's with the Les Paul tune-o-matic bridge. Now I'm using a Fender style guitar with the hardtail bridge, and the saddles are right inside the bridge itself. I'm dealing with single coil pickups instead of the double humbuckers that were on the Les Paul, so there's going to be a very different tone That was the medium, you could say. Now if I bring it way up, there's a lot less note being released. And then all the way back, so I'm still in palm muting, but just barely. Most noticeable differences are going to be in the depth of the sound because of the difference in the pickups, as I said before. And then we can try out the Floyd Rose, or floating bridge. Now, with the Floyd Rose style guitar, I have double humbuckers and then one middle position single coil. This is the Fender-like type of guitar body. The Floyd Rose or floating bridge that I was telling you about, it can go down in the pitch, or I could turn this whammy bar around and go a little higher. Because the bridge is a floating bridge, if I were to place my hand on here, first off, you can hear the change in the pitch. So I need to be exceptionally careful with how I lay my palm down on this. This bridge actually has a pretty flat top. It makes it easier for me to lay my palm than the Tune-o-matic or the Fender style bridge. That would be my middle ground. Now if I move it up a bit, you get a lot less of the note. Now I'm going to pull it way back and release much more of the note. And then we can try it in distortion. Now if I pull my palm up a good bit and release less of the note, and I'm going to release a lot of the note. Definitely more tone than the Fender or single coil style guitars. So I hope that was a helpful video in learning how to use palm mutes. There's certainly a lot more to all of this. Hopefully this was helpful to get you started. Stay tuned for any future videos I have. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.